It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
So this town hall represents what happens when grassroots organizations talk about what matters to the people. And so I think when you have these town halls and you invite people to come and really speak on the issues, you get honesty and you get real action positions that you can take and things you can do to move forward, whether it be voting or speaking to your congresspeople, or whether that be actually running yourself and how to do that.
It's important for Congress to pass a Clean Dream Act because there are people that are in this country that don't have a clear path to citizenship. They're here, they're building lives. It's like Rainey said, they're building lives, they've got families, they've got dreams. That's why they're called dreamers. They have a dream of being in this country and being able to live freely, and right now they do not have that freedom.
I say get involved. You know, it's easy to get involved. There are a bunch of grassroots organizations, especially after Trump's election. So many grassroots organizations formed, community organizing centers. Go to them, get involved, call your congressmen. Go visit your congressmen and speak to them and say, you know, this is not right. If you truly believe that what they're doing to me and millions of other immigrants is not right, go ahead and take those steps and show us your solidarity.
So we are here today because each and every one of us believes our best hope to build the kind of community we all aspire to is the Democratic Party. We are here because we truly want a democracy. We have to fight for it. It's not enough to vote. It's not enough to help people running for office. We need to run for office ourselves. Each and every one of you here who has never contemplated the idea that you could be the difference, you have the potential within you right now to make this party what it can be and what it should be and what it will be.
I'm going to tell you, it is hard in Harrisburg. I've been doing this for just a little less than 3 years. Before that, I was just like you, interested in making my Commonwealth a better place. But I've been surprised by what I've seen in Harrisburg. There are a lot of people who have a lot of ideas that are very different from the ideas that Mike and Pete and I have, and that you have. We're just trying to make lives better. That's what you want, that's what we all want. And that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to cater to any interest. We're not trying to make sure somebody's feelings aren't hurt. We're actually trying to make lives better. That's what Pete was talking about, and that's what Mike is talking about, and that's what we try to do in Harrisburg. But there are a surprising number of people who really don't care about that, and who want to keep things the way they are, moving in a direction that really is so different from what it should move. And I think talking about this issue that we're talking about today, the Dreamers Act, you know, how ridiculous is the opposition to DACA from anybody? I mean, and this is Pennsylvania. Representative Ellison, good to see you here. Allentown, Pennsylvania. This is really important. Now, I don't know, I don't want to get really overly nerdy on you here. I am a nerd. But one of my favorite authors is an author called Eric Maria Remarque, who wrote All Quiet on the Western Front. He wrote a number of novels. One of them is not as well known. It's called Flotsam. And it's about life before the Second World War in Europe, when a lot of stateless refugees were wandering from border to border. They were being kicked out, deported from countries. It was just part of the culture that existed in that pre-war era. Terrible for many, many people. And there's a point in that novel where two of the folks who have been deported from one of these many countries that have said, we're not going to keep you here, they're looking at each other and they're saying, you know, one of the problem with this era is not the existence of great, extraordinary evil. It's the absence of ordinary good. That, I think, is our problem, and that's our challenge. And it reminds me of the quote, and you've all heard this, Benjamin Franklin was leading the Constitutional Convention in 1787, everybody knows this. Mrs. Powell confronted him and said, "So what's it to be, Dr. Franklin, a monarchy or a republic?" He said, "A republic if you can keep it." What we've shown right now is that we need to keep our republic. And we need to hold fast to those ideals and those values that we started with 240 some years ago.
That's right.
We have never lived fully up to those ideals, but we've never stopped trying up until now. We have got to try to live up to those ideals. And what better way than the Dreamers? What better way to take folks who have been in this country for a long time? They were brought here by their parents. They're here. This is the only home they know. We cannot afford to make them stateless refugees like those folks in Flotsam.
Right.
We cannot afford to have the absence of that ordinary goodness that has made this country so great and has made us progress through all the tough things and bad things we've progressed through. We've got to keep progressing. We can't go backward. And so this is about holding on to our republic. This is about what you are doing here. You need to do this. We need to keep this energy alive. I'm hoping you're going to keep this energy alive through November of 2018. Because if we keep this energy alive, we're going to be able to do some great things. Yeah. Peter and Mike talked about the bad things that we have stopped from happening, but we've also done some good things, even with the overwhelming odds against us. All of us working together have gotten historic increases in education funding. Historic over the last 3 years.
Right.
In the face of it. I expanded Medicaid. We have more people. We have been able to do things that have made lives better for people here in Pennsylvania. Could we do more if there were more Mikes, more Petes in Harrisburg? Absolutely. And this year, this is our chance. Let's make sure we keep this republic. Let's make sure we hold on to the values that we have held dear ever since the founding. Let's make America truly great. Thank you very much.
They call us brave because of the millions of us that are willing to risk it all every day, showing up in the streets, speaking out for the injustice that we have to live every day. But it's not only bravery, we have no choice.
Thanks a lot, Barack. And, I really have to say, Rainey, that I consider myself kind of thick-skinned and crusty, but you really have me a little misty over there. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you talked in such a heartfelt way about what you have faced, because those of us who've been born here and never had to worry about the things that you worry about every day, we need to get a little bit of the emotion associated with having to worry about whether or not you're going to have a roof over your head. And what I mean is, will you be in a detention ICE cell, or will you be in your home? Will you be in a detention center, or will you be home with your family?
Yeah.
And I tell you guys, we are only a few days in front of the observation of Martin Luther King's birthday. And I want us to plug into the fact that the human rights, civil rights movement, the vanguard of that movement is the immigration struggle that we are in right now. If you have ever fantasized about what it might be like to be on Edmund Pettus Bridge, maybe you fantasized about what it would mean to be at the March on Washington, and maybe you thought, man, I wish I was there to fight with those folks who fought the great battle for civil and human rights. Maybe you fantasized about fighting Hitler in World War II, or maybe you fantasized about being in the Civil War. Man, don't fantasize about none of that.
Yes, sir.
Because the battle is on right here, right now, in Allentown.
Yes, sir.
Right here, and right now. I want to say that I want to thank all the Make the Road awesome organization. Please give it up for them.
Yeah.
I want to thank the brothers and sisters of organized labor. I see some SEIU shirts, some other shirts. And I want to thank you because when you were willing to put your arms around our dreamers and let them know that they're not alone and that they're not by themselves, you are upholding the best tradition of human rights advocacy in this country. I want to say thank you for doing that. And every one of you in this room saying, I'm going to be with Rainey. I'm with Rainey. That's who I'm with. That is important. She needs to know you care about her, and you're not just willing to clap for her because we know you are, but you are willing to, I don't know, get arrested for her, show up in a demonstration for her. Yes, sir. Out there for her, you're willing to go down and press yourself out for her. This is the kind of commitment that we have to have. Because it may feel like we're fighting over a DREAM Act, or it may feel like we're fighting over a piece of legislation, but what we're really fighting about is the very direction of our country.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. Would you rather have a country that really means and lives up to liberty and justice for all? Or would you rather have a Trumpian vision where all Americans look the same, talk the same, and pray the same, and everybody else is kicked out or pushed down to second-class citizenship? Look, people making all this fuss about what he said last night. I know you ain't surprised.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I mean, what about when he said, oh, Judge Curiel, he can't be fair to me, he's a Mexican.
Right.
He said this dude's, the judge's ethnicity precluded him from being fair to Donald Trump. Because he was a Mexican, born in Indiana, by the way. This is the mentality of the person. He starts out saying we're going to have a full, complete ban on Muslims. There's no doubt about what this guy is. It's not extreme or even unreasonable to say that he is a racist.
Yes.
And guess what, my friends?
Yes, sir.
And guess what, my friends? He's actually good with it. He doesn't have a problem with you saying that.
Right.
He's like, yeah? What? What of it?
Right.
I'm telling you, he never gets sensitive about being called that. He gets sensitive about other stuff like his hand size. But he does not get sensitive about when we accuse him of bigotry. He is all right with it. He is all right saying that the KKK and the neo-Nazis are the same as the people who protest them. He is all right with David Duke endorsing him. You remember he acted like David who? No, we remember that.
Right.
We remember. So the question is not whether, I mean, we got to get over the shock that the president is actually a racist white supremacist. He is that. You have to accept it as a fact.
Right.
That's what's going down. Now the question is, what are we going to do about it? That's the question. That's the question.
Yeah.
Now let me just tell you, you can count on me and the Democratic caucus in the House voting for a clean DREAM Act. That's right. Come on. I like it. I am telling you now that there are many of you who are thinking about running for office for the first time. Many of you who are entertained. Anybody out there who's thinking about that? Good, good. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you, and I want to tell you that I'm very, very pleased that you are considering this. But some of you guys don't want to run for office. You never thought about it. Martin Luther King never held political office. Think about that. He changed this country more than any of us and never ran for office. But whether you run for office or whether you don't run for office, it's not good enough simply to win an election in this moment.
Right.
That's right. We got to win the argument
Yeah.
that we are all in, nobody out, everybody counts, everybody matters, that we are all included and we all deserve an economy in which we and our families can thrive, in which we don't have to worry about being thrown out of the country that we've grown up in which we have true immigration reform that includes family reunification.
Yeah.
You need to know, and you need to know, some of us may not know, I know 99% of us know, but for the 1% who don't know, when they say they want to end chain migration, they're saying they want to end family reunification. That's what that means, folks. That's what that means. So no, we like families coming together. We have family values, right? We believe in that. We believe in that. And I love my family, and I know you love yours, and we want to rejoin families together. But we've got to win the argument. We've got to win the case. We've got to get all over this state, all over this country, and convince all Americans that we are better together and that immigration is part of what it means to be an American in the first place. Everybody in this country, except for the new Native Americans, came here from somewhere else. Some voluntarily, some not. Say so. But we all came here. And as was famously said, we may come here in different boats, but we're in the same ship now. And so we are. And so the bottom line is, we have to fight together. We have to stick together, and our unity is our strength. You know, there was a famous quote. Anybody, you know, I mentioned Martin Luther King. He's been on my heart a lot these days. And he famously was in jail. And, you know, after you're in jail a while, sometimes you get into conversations with your jailers. Any of y'all who ever been arrested protesting for being in jail a few days, start talking to the jailers. How you doing, Sam? I'm okay. I mean, this, you know, if you've been in jail, you know what I'm talking about. And I have been. And so, you know, he asked the guy, he said, you know, how much you make jailing us, keeping us behind lock and key? And the guy told Martin Luther King how much he made, and Martin Luther King said, man, that ain't enough to keep your family going. He said, that's true, we got to do vegetables in the backyard or we would be without. He said, you know, you might be the jailer and I'm the jailee, but you need to be marching with us Negroes. That's what he said. He said the same forces that oppress us are the same forces that keep you down. You think because you got the key and I'm on the other side of this jail cell that you got more power than me, but neither one of us can afford to pay the bills for our family. We've got to understand that this division around race and this division around our religion, this is a artificially imposed thing to keep us thinking that we're not one human family. We have got to fight through this stuff and create true human solidarity. Now, I'm not saying that we can't be proud of who we are and our heritage and all that, and I'm not saying that our histories are not different. I'm saying that at the end of the day, we're one human family. The scientists will tell you that. And the only way they get us to fight each other is that they convince us that we are different. But we've got to fight through that, and we have got to come together. When he says white supremacy nationalism, we say human solidarity for all. That's what we got to be. That's what it's got to be. Now, I know some of y'all are like, hey, I'm black and I'm proud. Me too, for sure. I'm not saying that you should give up who you are. I mean, your culture is beautiful. The history, the culture, the food, everything, we love it. We learn from each other, and we bask in the glow of each other's culture. Teach me about you. I want to tell you about me. But at the end of the day, it really is a matter of human solidarity. And it can't be the case that only the DACA kids, only the dreamers are fighting for the dreamers. All of us, whether you're born here, 14 generations, you got to be on their side. You got to be with Rainey if your people came in here in 1742 like mine did. Not voluntarily. I'm telling you, if you are a man, you can't let the sisters fight this sexual harassment thing. We got to stand up and be part of it. You can't just let them put up with this. Oh yeah, tell me how y'all make out. Get back to me on that. No, we're in it. We got to be in it. It can't just be black people and Latinos fighting racism. We need our white brothers and sisters saying racism degrades all of us. We gotta find the words for it. We have got to find find a way to have each other's backs all the time. Now, I'm here as deputy chair of the Democratic National Committee, but I'm not here trying to sell you on the next election or my party's better than their party. No, we're talking about value systems right here.
Right.
Parties, y'all know that the Democratic Party before 48 was the racist party.
Right.
You know that. Let's just be honest.
Yes.
Let's not make up any myths. Let's just tell the truth. And when Hubert H. Humphrey got up there and he said, we are at the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia, he said, we're going to walk out of the dark shadow of states' rights into the bright sunshine of human rights.
Yes.
Those bunch of Southern Democrat racists got up and walked out of convention and walked into something called the Dixiecrat Party,
Yes, sir.
then walked into the Republican Party, and been there ever since.
Yep.
I'm telling you that I am a Democrat today because the Democratic Party is the party that says we welcome our Muslim brothers and sisters. You saw 7 Muslims speak at the Democratic Convention. Who saw Khazar Khan and Ghazala Khan up there? Who saw that? We saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up there. You know, the Democratic Party is the party that says that we're going to stand for women's rights, pay equity. We're going to stand for women's rights to choose, and we're going to stand for increasing not just the minimum wage, but we got to have a livable wage.
Yeah.
It is the Democratic Party saying that we want to fight for the right to a voice on your job. It's the Democratic Party that is fighting for immigration reform right here, right now, and is rock solid, demanding that we have a Clean Dream Act to vote on. So it's not a matter of me just trying to sell you just on a party, right? When the Democratic Party's wrong, say they're wrong. How much do you expect them to get right? You think they're going to get right just based on hope? No, you got to hold them accountable. You got to hold us accountable. We want you to do this. We want you to. Because we're not trying to be popular, we're trying to be right.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, in my opinion, the Democratic Party is not really for only Democrats. It's for the American people. It should be. It should be a body of people fighting for a shared set of values that lifts up the dignity of working people of all colors and backgrounds. That's what it really should be. And I'm telling you that if it is a human institution, it is a flawed institution. But the way that it gets better is you don't beat us down, you beat us up.
Yes.
Up. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it is groups like Make the Road that inspire us to be better.
Yeah.
We need you to keep doing what you're doing so you can keep the moral standard high. We understand that. Reformers within love it when y'all get down the way you get down because we say, see, that's what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. So keep it up and just understand this, that in the next few days, we're going to have some difficult days ahead.
Right.
They just did an ICE raid over there in Allentown at the 7-Eleven. Think about that. As you think about what you heard from our dear beloved sister Rainey, think about other people who have to deal with just being on the job, and then here come the ICE people. Now they got to run and hide and hope that they can make it home for dinner tonight so they can feed the kids. In Minnesota, they did a big raid at the Postville in Iowa, and the kids came home from dinner, but mom and dad was in the ICE detention. This is inhuman. We cannot have a second-class citizen group in our country. We cannot have a group of people who live in the shadows and live in the fear. We got to say everybody walks into the light. And I'm going to ask you all a question. Have you ever heard of an undocumented corporation? Because the corporation goes back and forth across the border as it pleases.
That's right.
You know, the corporation says, oh, we could shut down here in Pennsylvania and open right on the other side of the Mexican border, and we can cut their pay, reopen, hire these people at 5%, no environmental protection, no human rights, no labor rights, and we can make a bundle. And then we can tell those Americans that it was the Mexicans who took their jobs. And we should build a wall. Oh, and then get the contract to my friends who might just remember that I'm the one who hooked them up down the line. You understand what I mean? This is a big, fat, ugly scam, y'all.
Yes.
Undocumented people are people who have not been given a paper, so give them some paper.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm gonna tell you, it's often said, you know, people say this. I always try to tell them, you know, I'm not feeling that too much. But somebody said to me, well, you know, the Dreamers came here at no fault of their own. I said, you know, their parents might have been fleeing from some outrageous and unfair policies that our country helped contribute to.
Right.
But don't be surprised, Brother Keith says the Pledge of Allegiance from his heart. But I don't think that everything my country's ever done is exactly what I would have it do. I would not have my country train people at the School of the Americas and send them down to El Salvador. I would shut the place down. And one thing I for sure would not do is after Salvadorans run here because of the hell that was created down there, tell them, get out.
Right.
That just happened, 200,000 strong. We got to fight for our dreams. We got to fight for these Salvadorans too, and these Hondurans, and these Liberians, and the Haitians. I'm gonna tell you right now, Minneapolis is gonna be in tough shape if we kick all the Liberians out. You know why? Because if you go into a nursing home caring for senior citizens, nearly all of them are Liberians or Haitians. These folks are embedded in our community. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're our spouses.
Right.
Right? These are people that are our people. And we ain't going to let them go out like that. So let me just tell you very, very, very simply that the Democratic National Committee has changed its mission. We're no longer a party whose job it is to elect a Democratic president.
That's right. Thank you.
We are fighting for candidates up and down the ballot.
Yes.
We are no longer a party that only cares about the election.
Yeah.
Because if all you care about is the election, then you only come around when the election comes up. And after the election's over, then you're gone until the next. And then people get to thinking all you care about is the election. No. You know what's more important than the election? What happens between the election.
Right.
Because between the election, we get health care or we don't. Between the election, we get immigration reform or we don't. Between the election, we get common sense gun safety laws or we don't. And we have got to create a model of co-governance where nobody elected thinks that they're going in there and could do whatever they want. There are lines of accountability that we all have to have. And Make the Road works to help you get elected. You better believe they're going to be asking you questions if you start going the wrong direction. Am I right? Accountability. But it's co-governance. It's about governing together. It's about when I'm in office, I go back to people like you and say, look, we got a vote coming up. What do y'all think? We think this, this, and this. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to need you to write some letters, to show up at the rally, to come to the meeting, and we're going to do this thing together.
Yes.
That's got to be our new model.
Yes.
We're creating that model.
Yes.
We're saying that going to rich people and asking them for millions of dollars to spend millions of dollars on television ads is dumb.
Yes.
We're saying that we got to go build a face-to-face relationship with your neighbor. What about that? Somebody has asked me, Keith, what's the message of the Democratic Party? Go knock a door and build a relationship with a neighbor. What about that? Do you know the people in your building? Anybody who wants to debate George Lakoff with me, go knock 10 doors, then I'll make time for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let me just say, you guys, and I mean this, I love you. I mean that, and I tell you that. And let me tell you why. Because you inspire me, man. Anytime them people start getting up under my last nerve, I see you and your passion, your fight, your desire for the best of this nation. I see you in all your colors, all your cultures, all your diversity. But I see you unified and having the best interests of each other first and foremost. I see inspirational young people and old people Y'all know with this tax deal, they're going after grandma's Social Security. You know that, right? You know, we're fighting for Rainey today. You're going to be fighting for Miss McGillicuddy tomorrow. Believe that. And so I just want to wrap it up here and let you know how much I deeply, deeply appreciate you. Murat, we're going to get them votes that you say we need, brother. We're going to fight for those votes, and we're going to, and you know who's going to turn Minnesota, excuse me. You know who's going to turn Pennsylvania blue? Our new Americans. Our new Americans. All of you, right here. Every one of us. Organizing, fighting, we're all going to turn